What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson back with the latest and greatest from the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, and the on-field portion of the combine starts today. It gets kicked off from Indianapolis, where the linebackers and the defensive linemen get after it today. But today I want to talk about the quarterback position in Washington. Sam Howell is the presumed, put that in quotations and do your bunny ears when you say that, he's the presumed starter for this team for the 2023 season. And all offseason, there's been a very consistent accord that Sam's going to get the first crack at the QB1 position here in Washington. And they've been very consistent. Ron and Martin Mayhew, they've been in lockstep saying that he'll get the first crack, but we get to Combine Week in Indianapolis, and they interview Ron Rivera. And Ron always just has to mix and blur the messaging a little bit. If you followed along, or if you're a fan of the team, you know exactly what they're saying. But Ron had to make it sound a little inconsistent when he comes out in his Combine Week presser and says, he's not our starter, but he'll get the first crack at the QB1. He's going into the offseason as QB1. It just seems like he's making an adamant effort to oversell their belief in Sam Howell, but then he makes it inconsistent by saying the words, he's not our starter. He didn't have to say that. Like, literally, we understand that he's going to get the first crack at it. You're not giving him the position. I don't know why you have to keep saying things like this. Like, it's like they're trying to convince themselves of something. But then that leads me to, if Sam isn't the starter, then who the hell else is going to start for this team? Like, what is realistic competition for Sam Howell? And how are they going to attack the quarterback position this offseason? Because they've told us to our faces that they will not be allocating assets, significant assets or capital towards a quarterback this offseason after what happened last year with Wentz. But you take a lot of things with a grain of salt. It's lying season, and we know one of the few things consistent about Ron's tenure here is mixed messaging. Mixed messaging and having to walk back and detract comments from his press conference. It's a weekly thing here, and Ron, you know how he just hired Ken Zampini to be like a game advisor for him? We need to hire like a press conference advisor for Ron, because the messaging always gets lost in translation when this guy speaks to the media here. But let's just go back to these he's not our starter comments. I get what he's saying. I understand it because I understand how Ron operates. I understand how this team operates, and I understand how you have to operate during this time of the season. You're not supposed to show your hand or give the league a competitive advantage of what you're doing, and you're not trying to give a fifth-round kid the job, hand it to him like he's a trust fund kid, like he's a first-round pick. You want him to work for it. You want him to work hard for it. You don't want him to feel like he's arrived, yada, yada, yada. I understand that. So what are realistic options for competition for Sam Howell? I think the move, and I think what we're going to do here is we're going to bring in some middle-tiered, very mid veteran guy. I don't want that because I don't even want a veteran on the roster, to be perfectly honest. I feel like the best competition you give Sam is a quarterback drafted somewhere early to mid-rounds in the NFL draft, and let the two kids duke it out, and put a mid-ass, cheap, third-string veteran on the roster with experience in a West Coast offense as the third string. But that's just me. How I think the team attacks it, I think they sign a guy like recently released Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota has a running profile. He has a profile kind of similar to Sam Howell's, but not really. But enough that they can run the same offense if Sam was to be in competition, or if Sam was to miss any time with him. He started most of the year for the Atlanta Falcons last year, so this is a guy who has playing experience. This is a guy who was a top 2 pick in the draft. He's probably considered a draft bust, which makes sense. So he's at the era of his career where he'll be moonlighting as a backup, because Atlanta gave him his final shot to be a starter, and he didn't exactly cash that in and turn that into a long-term thing. They couldn't wait to get Desmond Ridder on the field. But I'm looking at what are options to compete for Sam Howell. I don't think we go the Baker Mayfield route because I think Baker is actually going to start for somebody. Jimmy Garoppolo seems expensive, and if we sign Jimmy Garoppolo, he's coming here to start. Let's call a spade a spade. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a starter for somebody. He's going to be a middle to low level middle level starter. Mid, productive enough. And I was listening to Louis T the other day, and Louis T really explained the like why Taylor Heineke can be like an electrifying backup in comparison to like Teddy Bridgewater or Jacoby Brissett. I don't want a Teddy Bridgewater or a Jacoby Brissett for this exact reason, because they come in a game and do nothing. They come in a game and are just a body filling a uniform behind a center, and your offense doesn't exactly die, but there's no life breathed into it when they're on the field. I think Taylor Heineke, they try to get a hometown deal done with him, but I don't think he's as valuable to the team now that Scott Turner's out of the picture. Because remember, Heineke had experience with Scott Turner from his time in Minnesota, from his time in Carolina, and his years in Washington. So he had 4 to 5 years experience in his offense. We have a new sheriff in town running the offense, Eric Bieniemy, who runs a West Coast system, which is not the same as the Air Coryell system. So I imagine the competition or the veteran middleman guy that's here to mentor and back up Sam Howell would need to have some type of experience in a West Coast offense. But, I mean, it's NFL. Guys adjust. Guys learn new offenses. It may not be the case, but I'm sitting here looking. I don't think we're going to be in the Daniel Jones search either. Daniel Jones trying to get $45 million a year from the Giants. Stay away from that. We're not going to be in the Derek Carr sweepstakes. I'm interested to see why Derek Carr isn't signed yet. Is he waiting for Rodgers? What exactly is he doing? But I don't see us making any home run swings this offseason. I think if the Ravens don't give the exclusive tag to Lamar, we could give them a call, but we're not getting Lamar Jackson. We're not getting Aaron Rodgers, and we're not getting Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, or probably Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson would probably be the only one that we would have a shot at, and we even might have to trade up to make that happen. So it's Sam Howell's world here in 2023. But the question remains, they keep telling us they want competition for Sam Howell. What kind of competition are we talking about? Are we talking about a veteran? Are we talking about a kid? Are we talking about a guy like, if we trade for a guy like Davis Mills from the Houston Texans because he has familiarity with Tavita Pritchard? Like, what kind of competition? Are we talking about a guy who can legitimately challenge Sam for the job? Or are we talking about a formality? A guy brought here like Teddy Bridgewater or Jacoby Brissett to mentor the guy, stand behind him, hold the Surface Pro, and teach him how to be a pro's pro in this league. Sam has a chance to be a good, I wouldn't say higher end starter, could be, but I think a high middle of the pack starter in 2023 for Washington. And he can be very productive. He has the tools, but we're going to keep going back to 5th round pick. He should not have went to the 5th round, but he did fall to the 5th round. These are facts. We cannot change the facts. He doesn't have overwhelming size, but he has a great arm. He has great arm talent for his size. He's mobile as hell, dual threat guy, runs hard, and he's a very hard worker. He's already back at work. I seen him. He had a picture with Kevin Durant at the Suns game last night. Love to see that type of shit. But what kind of competition do y'all think we need to bring in for Sam Howell here? Let me know in the comment. Who's your guy? Who's your guy? And let me know why he's your guy. I say draft a guy. Either in the first round if Richardson or someone starts to fall, or middling rounds. Freaking Tanner McKee, Hendon Hooker type guy. Let the kids compete for the job. But I see it realistically playing out as a Marcus Mariota type, David Blau, one of those type of things. Let me know what type of competition y'all think is coming on the roster for Sam Howell. That's all I got for right now. Combine workouts start today. I can't wait to see the quarterbacks on Saturday, but today the defensive line and the linebackers are up, so I'll be taking a look at every second of that. That's all I got for right now. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Enjoy your Thursday. Deuces.